October 27, 2001 was something else besides Make a Difference Day. While most Job Corps students were out in their communities providing service, a college football team was in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania, providing something special for legendary coach Joe Paterno. With their defeat of the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Penn State Nittany Lions handed Joe Paterno win number 324, making him the winningest coach in major college football history. You probably saw this on the news that night or read about it in the paper the next day. But perhaps you didn't know that a former Job Corps student played a major role in that big victory. His name is Gus Felder, and we want to share with you his story. Gus Felder is the type of guy who stands out in a crowd. At 6 foot 5 inches and 323 pounds, he's hard to miss. But get to know Gus, and it's more than physical stature that makes him so impressive. Gus was born and raised in Philadelphia, North Philly to be exact, a rough part of town to grow up in, to say the least. Gus was born third in a family of 7 kids. As he grew, he found himself going nowhere and looked for a helping hand. He found it at age 16 when he enrolled in the Red Rock Job Corps Center in Lopez, Pennsylvania.
And I went to Job Corps, and I left the city of Philadelphia and went outside, not too far, about 3 hours away, but it's still a different view of life to me. I've seen a lot of different things out there I can do, like becoming a carpenter.
Gus completed his carpentry trade under the guidance of instructor Ed Pish. Mr. Pish saw a lot of potential in Gus, as he did with all of his students.
And I think a lot of these students, sometimes they need a hug, sometimes they need a kick in the pants, and sometimes they just need a little tap on the shoulder and say, good job.
When Gus was ready to move on from Job Corps, it was discovered that he still had some eligibility left to attend high school. Before long, Gus was enrolled as a student in Berwick High School, Berwick being a town just a few miles south of the Red Rock Center. It was here at Berwick High School that Gus rekindled a love of football, so much so that he became the star of the team, leading them on to a state championship twice. Gus's coach, George Curry, knew Gus had a lot of potential for major college football, so he called an old friend.
And his high school coach, I think his high school coach should get a lot of credit. George Curry should have a lot of credit for saying, hey, this is a kid you ought to take. But, he was a big, strong kid, and when you got to meet him, he was such a nice kid, and he obviously had a lot of ambition to do something with his life, and you figured he was worth giving a shot to.
But Gus was lacking in academic achievement, and it put his Penn State hopes in doubt.
Gus was very determined to come to Penn State, and even after repeatedly I had told him that it was doubtful that he would be able to come to Penn State because of his academic standing, he was still very determined. He made up his mind he was going to get to Penn State somehow.
Besides academic issues, Gus had other responsibilities to tend to as well. While at Red Rock Job Corps, Gus met Kelly, a struggling student who looked to Gus as an example.
So I kind of went from going down the bad path to going up the good path when I got with him. So he changed me a whole lot.
Gus and Kelly fell in love at Red Rock, and before long, Kelly was expecting. While Gus struggled with eligibility issues, Kelly was struggling with pregnancy. Their respective trials brought them closer, and soon they were married. With the responsibility of a family on his shoulders, Gus was more determined than ever as he dealt with the academic issues preventing him from attending Penn State. Through the help of a summer program and sheer will, Gus again proved himself capable of handling a tough challenge. He met the required academic standards, and Joe Paterno offered him a scholarship.
You know, the unique thing about Gus, when he made the decision to come to Penn State University, he made it because he wanted to pursue a quality education. And he came to our campus with that goal in mind. And he attacked his academics every bit as hard as he attacked his athletic career.
Gus, number 72, applying his focused determination, has worked his way up to becoming the starting offensive tackle for Joe Paterno in this his senior year.
He's a great person, he really is. He's done a marvelous job done a great job in the classroom. He's a real leader on the team. He's just I'm just delighted that he decided to come in. He hustles on every play. You know, he's a guy that's just, you know, he's out there every single day doing everything he can.
The tackles, Felder and McKelvey especially shining.
Gus's work ethic is probably his greatest strength.
Oh, he's got great work ethic.
Kelly, Gus's #1 fan, doesn't hesitate in saying what she's most proud of about Gus.
That he stayed on the dean's list through everything. Since he's been here, his grades have stayed up. They haven't dropped.
Frequently, family members come to Happy Valley to attend games and spend the weekend with Gus and Kelly.
I like watching him play, only when he win. And he lose, I mean, play.
Gus really loves his family. In fact, in order to get his younger brother Jamel off the streets of Philadelphia, he welcomed him into his home.
Well, he's taken on a lot of responsibilities. You know, he got married. He has a younger brother living with him that he has really been a father to. He's a very mature young man, much more mature beyond his years.
Gus actually knows where he came from North Philadelphia, and the direction that he was going at that point, and what positive people have turned his life around, and he is now intervening, turning other people's life around.
Through it all, Gus has never forgotten the impact that Job Corps has had in his life. In fact, he's quoted as saying that Job Corps was the changing point in his life. He's also never forgotten the impact of instructor Ed Pish, who's kept a scrapbook of all Gus's accomplishments along the way. Gus often refers to Ed as his second father.
I tell Mr. Fish thank you all the time. You can't really say much for what something like that he does. You can't say thank you for what he does. I mean, words can't explain to how you feel. I just can't say thank you. I try to do it all the time. I just can't. It doesn't equal out to what he's done for me.
The impact of Job Corps and influential staff members was not lost on Coach Paterno either.
What you people and the people have done to help Gus, I think Gus appreciates it, and I think all of us who are concerned about young people have to understand that you got to reach out to a lot of them. They don't all have it made.
In some ways, the future is uncertain for Gus and his family. Will he make the NFL, or will he take his degree and become a football coach and teacher? It remains to be seen, but neither he nor Kelly are too worried.
I don't care where his future goes as long as we're still together. I don't care if he goes to teach, if he goes back to Philadelphia and we just live a normal life, he goes to NFL, whatever, however it goes, as long as it goes with the family, I'll be happy.
It's a long way from the Philly streets to the mystique of Penn State, and it wasn't handed to him on a silver platter, but Gus Felder made it. He took the boost Job Corps offered and surpassed the expectations of everyone.
I wouldn't change anything in my life from day one to now. Wouldn't change anything.